least.
Hi everybody, this is Cindy from Master Cindy, and I'm coming to you live because if I don't kill the man sitting next to me, it's going to be a miracle, because I asked him, can you be quiet if I do this live from Facebook, from YouTube? Oh yeah, I can be quiet. He can't be quiet, ladies and gentlemen. This man cannot be quiet. We are doing the, hello everybody, we are doing the ABC. We are doing the ABCs of keto, and today is the beautiful, bold, wonderful word B. And because of that, we just finished celebrating a birthday party. This is true, a birthday party. Really, Clarence? Can you be any louder than that? I love my husband. Stop it! Isn't this great? This one's going to go down in history. So, we're celebrating a birthday party, and we are in New Braunfels, Texas, and he's going in right now to buy us some food at Black's Barbecue. And I think that's the only way I can get him to stay quiet is because I'm sending him, there's my cowboy, walking away with his hat on, into Black's Barbecue. So you guys did an awesome job sending to me letter B words that have to do with keto. So first I'm going to go over the food groups. Now clearly, we are at Black's Barbecue. So at Black's Barbecue, you can get beef, beef ribs, brisket, you can get bratwurst. The Wurstfest is out. If you've never been out to New Braunfels for the Wurstfest, you could get sausage on a stick. And there's the Crawdad, the Cajun festival out here, and you can get boudin or however you say it. It's a fantastic Cajun sausage. So those are the B's. You can have butter, you can have bacon, baby bok choy, berries, broccoli, beef gelatin powder. I make my grandchildren amazing gummy bears using beef gelatin powder like you would mix up Jell-O. And then some stevia or some erythritol. He's coming back in the truck now, and it will never be the same. So he's getting back in the truck. He looks at me, and he goes, shh. Yeah, like I'm the one making the noise. But anyway, so I digress. Squirrel. Beef gelatin powder. I make some great keto gummy bears. You really want a high concentration of the beef gelatin powder, and then I use some stevia or some erythritol. I've got these little gummy bear molds that I use. So let's keep going down the B words that have to do with keto. Bone broth. Ooh, yumbo. Full of nutrients. Bouillon. If you're lightheaded, if you have a headache, if your heart is racing, now clearly if you feel like you need medical attention, but if you're just starting keto, or maybe you've tightened up your carbohydrates, many times you lose a lot of sodium and you get these headaches and things. So bouillon is your friend, as well as salt, but we'll talk about that when we get to the S letter. Okay, Brisket Barbacoa. I had barbacoa the other day. I went into this little gas station that also has a little tiny post office inside of it, and it was actually a line, which we never have. And so I went over and I got some barbacoa, which is shredded cheek meat, I think from a pig. Those of you that are barbacoa aficionados, oh, it was delicious. It's so fatty. Then we've got, if we go into our lettuces, we've got Bibb lettuce, we've got Boston lettuce. And then there's black olives. Now, that was a little stretch, but I put that one in because you were kind enough to post it. And then if we think about drinks, the ever famous Bulletproof Coffee, which is actually a trademark term from Dave Asprey. So you can call it a fatty coffee. I don't think he's going to go after anybody that calls their fatty coffee Bulletproof Coffee. But he sells what he calls brain octane fuel, which is, according to his website, a very specific type of MCT oil that's really good for your brain. And speaking of brain, we have all of our B vitamins that we need for energy and for function of our cells. So don't forget your B vitamins. B12 is great. The methylcobalamin type of B12 is what I use, and I'll do a sublingual. Or you can get things that you do orally, but especially if you've had any type of gastric bypass or Roux-en-Y type of surgery, you are not going to be absorbing B vitamins well. So you can get vitamin B12 shots, or you can do the sublingual methylcobalamin. They're itty bitty little pink pills, and you can do that. So don't forget your buy drinks. Do you guys remember in the Super Bowl, my favorite commercial was oh, Justin Timberlake and the other dude, and they're doing the bye bye bye. Anyway, it's a great bye is great. It's sweetened with stevia, so they're pretty pricey, but I like to have them on occasion. And I think that's it. Now, what else did you guys talk about with me or share with me to discuss? The Banting Diet. Now, those of you who are U.S. based or even Canadian based may not know what Banting is. But the Banting Diet was due to from a publication, I think in the late 1800s. It was a letter on corpulence. Corpulence is a medical term for obesity. And it was, I think his name was William Banting, and he developed this diet because he was very obese and it was unusual back then. And so they started calling it the Banting Diet. It's very popular by that name in South Africa and in the UK some. So Banting Diet is another way of saying a ketogenic diet or a low carbohydrate diet. So if you haven't Googled Banting, if you like British accents, Zoe Carcrome has a really popular web-based program over there. Now, other B's, and I thought these were great. You guys were good about giving these to me. B, with keto, you get to break a lot of your food addiction behaviors. So your behaviors are allowed to change, and instead of running to food all the time and seeking it out all the time, because you've changed how your body responds to the food it eats, lower insulin, like we talked about on our A talk yesterday. When I drop my carbohydrates, I require less insulin to be produced. If I drop the insulin level, let me see. Okay, so I'm trying to see if yesterday I had a buzz in the background, so if you guys are seeing a buzz, let me know. Or seeing a buzz. That's like smelling the color 9. You can't smell the color 9. 9's not a color anyway. So that's a song. So breaking food addiction, changing your behavior. When my blood sugar is more stable, and that's another B, my blood sugar or my blood glucose, when I'm not consuming as many carbohydrates, and the carbohydrates I am taking in are more natural, thus the green leafy vegetables, almonds, nuts, things like that, a little bit of carbs in my cheeses if I'm choosing to consume those, my blood sugar stays level. I'm not having these huge ups and these huge downs, which is much like a roller coaster. And so my behavior is more normalized. I'm not hangry half of my life. I'm not thinking about food all the time. I just thought I was a very weak person for 59 years. When in reality, I was responding to the hormonal triggers from blood sugar up, insulin out, blood sugar down, and in 2 hours I was hungry again. So I was always thinking about food. So being on a ketogenic or low carbohydrate diet where you're producing ketones from your stored body fat allows you and myself to not have as many behavioral issues, or we can break the food addictions. It does help with your belly fat. If you're the type of person that carries your weight around your trunk, around your middle, and you have smaller legs, or even if you have a large abdominal girth and your legs are large as well, belly fat is highly associated with type 2 diabetes and or metabolic derangement. So when you have visceral fat, if you've ever heard the term visceral fat, that means that fat has been lodged into my abdominal organs. I get fatty liver, I can have fatty pancreas, I have fat wedged between my organs, and it makes for a very unhealthy metabolism. Food is much more powerful than we think. If you think about how complex our bodies are, food is actually the instruction manual for our food. It's our operating system. So when I eat food, I'm giving signals to my body and it's saying, operate this way. I give it sugar, it's going to instruct the body to release insulin. I give it less sugar, my insulin's not forced out of my pancreas, my visceral belly fat goes away, and a lot of my biologic markers, or my biomarkers become normalized simply by changing my food. There are so many things. So many of you posted yesterday after the video that your blood pressure was down. That's another thing. This is a great eating plan for helping naturally lower your blood pressure. For every gram of carbohydrates you consume, your body will hold on to 4 grams of water. And that increased hydrostatic pressure inside of your bloodstream and the edema as it's pushed out into the interstitial space will cause your heart to have to work harder because there's resistance in the blood vessels, and you can have an elevated blood pressure high BP, people, the medical terminology is hypertension, and the medications that they give you can cause a lot of problems because they relax the blood vessels. And if you're a man, erectile dysfunction is one of the biggest reasons that they hate taking their blood pressure medication. Fine, work with your doctor about that. I'm not telling you to stop taking them, but have a ribeye steak. Come to Black's and get this huge beef rib that's like 2 pounds. It's like Fred Flintstone. Eat the meat and the fat, avoid the carbohydrates, and your blood pressure will many times come down. Last but not least, people wanted me to talk about their bowels. I'm not going to tell you about my bowels, but your bowels are something that will take a little bit of time to become acclimated. It's going to take a little bit of time for your body to reacclimate to having different types of food. If you don't have a gallbladder, that's fine. I don't have a gallbladder, but just know the increase in fat consumption might cause you to have some diarrhea for a while. So some people get a little bit of bloating while their body is creating the right enzymes to break things down, and others don't have any problems. If you are finding that you have, my little selfie stick is collapsing and it's time to stop the video. If you have bloating, that should acclimate as you might need a little ox bile salts, which is going to help you digest the fat, or you can just buy an over-the-counter digestive enzyme that contains lipase, Lipase. But bowels should be fine. If you are suffering some constipation, definitely increase your water intake because you want to pull liquid into the bowel so it can keep your stool moist. The other thing that you can do is take some magnesium. Sorry about the wobbly camera here. You can take some magnesium, which is a natural diuretic. If you've ever saw the old commercials about Mom's Friend, milk of magnesia, that's exactly what that laxative is. So you can take some magnesium. And then the other thing you really want to do is you want to increase your salt intake. I take a salt shot every morning. I take about 1/8 of a teaspoon of Redmond salt, and I put it right back in the middle of my tongue. If you hate the taste of salt water, your salty receptors are in the front of your tongue. So put it back on the middle of your tongue, chase it down with some water, and that salt inside your intestinal system will draw fluid into your gut, and you will have a more normal bowel movement, as well as you will have better blood pressure if you're feeling shaky or you've got a headache. Because you will diurese a lot, meaning you'll go to the bathroom a lot your first week or two on keto as you get rid of all that stored water because you're not taking in as many carbohydrates. So let me check. Oh, and I like this. One of you ladies said being thankful that she found this way of eating. So I'm thankful for each of you. That's our quick review of the B's. If I missed a B, write it in. What B did I miss? What B did I not think of? And guess what tomorrow is? Tomorrow is C. So I will see you tomorrow. Please type in all those C words. Of course, calories and carbs come to mind. What else? What else C's? I don't know. That's up to you guys to tell me what you want to talk about. You're going to be stuck with me for 26 days. When we get to X's and V's, but we'll see. And Z's zebra. Nope, we're not going to go with zebra. Although I don't even know if people eat that, but that would be, I couldn't do that. Anyway, guys, have a good one. I got to figure out how to turn this thing off. I'm still new to the YouTube, Facebook live. I'll transfer this over to Facebook. Bye, guys. See you tomorrow. Bye.